Yeah, no, I'm going to Salt Lake City tomorrow. I like taking the heat.
Yeah, he can
It's like
participate now, but we haven't.
it's going to be in the 90s there.
Right,
So
so
that
that's what I'm
80s
saying.
all
How
in.
you doing?
Good. No, not until you have the
That's what I was worried
in-person.
about. Okay. All right, I will call the meeting to order. I think we kind of know who's here, so, but I'll. You're
I'll add.
There you go.
Oh, that chair has a little camera on it.
Oh, do you have an extra pen somewhere?
Yeah.
Somebody have a pen?
Next one?
Here, I got this.
I think there's actually a set right there of papers over there on that table. Oh, you got them?
Yeah, problem. Thank you.
All right. I'm here, Brent's not, Michael, Steve, Julie, Andy, Mark online. Okay, cool. All right, so we will start with opening public comments. So could we have anybody here that would? Okay, sure, go ahead. You can start with your name.
I'm Chris, I live in the Meridian, I live in a relatively new resident of the district, and I am trying to find out what happened to the, what was it, Channel District Community Association? CDTA, like the website's down. I didn't know I was directed here to kind of ask that question. It's been dissolved apparently. Nobody knows.
I
Nobody knows.
honestly have no idea.
Okay.
That had nothing to do with us.
Okay.
So.
Leading into a separate
Mark-
question. With
Yeah,
Mark.
Mark, you've been here twice. Is there? There. Okay, there's a, might be acting a little bit. Okay, go ahead and ask the question. I couldn't hear everything.
Mark, do you know what happened with the CDCA?
I'm hearing just a couple of words.
Do you know what happened with the CDCA?
I do
Oh,
not.
they- All right, I thought Mark might know.
Okay, so-
Mark doesn't know, then.
All right, well, I think we get a neighborhood association back in play because there's a lot of neighborhood things that need to be addressed. We've got a street corner on 11th and Whiting that's completely asphalt now that was ripped up for that 101 North Meridian building. So I called Casey and he pulled the permits, he's looking into it, but you know, it's a huge trip hazard. It doesn't look anything like the rest of the district. So things like that, we have street signs that are covered
Could
up.
be temporary.
Oh, wait.
It's been over a year.
Are you talking about the lot where the channel mural is?
No, the new tower built on 11th and
Yeah.
Meridian on our side of the street. Tico dug that whole corner up.
Oh, okay, so not where people who go to Lala and stuff, right?
No, I know what you're talking about. So, you know, it's just things like that. We want to be able to crack the whip on some of the noise ordinance things that we have. So I'm going to city council tomorrow to address some things with Tampa Waste because they are picking up in the middle of the night and dropping 600-pound dumpsters in the street. Against, we have flag hours. And they are swearing up and down that they're in compliance with everything. And I had him give me the rules that he's looking at. He's looking at an old version of the ordinances. So I'm going to go, and I actually am on the board for Toronto as well, the Downtown Riverparks Association. So I work down there. And, you know, I just want to figure out what we can do, not looking for money or anything, but I was looking for information was kind of my.
I mean, some of these things we can make notes of and,
Yeah.
you know, and Courtney can kind of go back and check with the city on some of these things and kind of pass messages along as far as like noise stuff and things like
I'm
that.
still going to go to the meeting tomorrow.
As far as like
figure
a
out
community alliance, if you're restarting an association that's kind of separate from us,
Who
but
would be,
things related to
like-
ordinances and stuff we can help with.
who would be legal. to
Well,
do
if you
that.
can, I'll write my email on your agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you can follow up and that way I have it detailed of what it is that you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm easy.
All right.
Now, everybody else can ask for a bunch of money, right?
Yeah.
Also website, Taylor Connect.
Okay.
It goes right to the department.
I've talked to them, we actually had TPD come out to one of our drawing meetings recently, and I think they want to come out with a noise meter and measure the, you know, our really adjusted ordinances so that we don't have to do that anymore. And I think TPD is still kind of the idea that they are going to be, held accountable for these things. So
Yeah,
we're going
the
to be
same
with
issue.
them again soon. We're going to meet with Guido and Gwen in the coming weeks for the noise ordinance stuff, but I specifically wanted to ask about the community association.
Yeah, one of the reasons we fought for the noise ordinance was, we're both residents of the towers, was because of like park and rec down below us and stuff. It was a huge issue.
We
So
actually have a meeting.
we helped
with,
fight for that, and so it really should, like, these things should be addressed by those ordinances that we fought to get changed, so really, it should be put into place
Well,
for everybody.
He's working off a document from 2016 that said, and it says utilities are allowed to make noise, but they struck that within like 2 months. That's October, or I guess August 2016, they struck that line. So now they fall under, the quiet hours, which says, no jarring noises.
Yeah.
I mean, a 600-pound dumpster hitting the ground at 4 o'clock in the morning wakes up 1,000 people.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, it's just a piece of life, quality of life, and that's kind of what we're working on with Drana as well to address with our CRA on that side too. So, okay, that's all my stuff.
Okay,
Carry on.
thank you. No,
Somebody
thanks,
listening for a
thanks for
little
bringing
bit.
it, thanks for
And
bringing it up.
You know, you for me, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
So let's just here to introduce ourselves. We own the run Steve
Oh, okay,
Robex,
yeah.
father and son, and we live across the street from the town. I live at Fitzgerald too.
My son used to work for you.
Oh,
Kai Nelson.
yeah, that's right. How's he doing?
He's doing well. He's back today, as a matter of fact.
Can y'all get a little closer? Can y'all get a little closer so we can hear you? No, we can just hear you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what business was it?
Robex, the smoothie shop right on the corner of Kennedy and 11.
Okay, great. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, small world.
And I'm also active in, my office, I'm an attorney with the Becker Law Firm, and we're in the West Shore. So I'm on the West Shore Alliance Executive Committee. We just had a meeting this morning about CIT, which I include to play with you guys, the Community Investment Tax. But, just wanted to kind of introduce ourselves and would like to get involved. I blended fruit all day, so
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and introducing yourself.
Welcome to the town district.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for
definitely.
being
Come-
here.
Come attend every month, and yeah, we'd love to have you
It's not a
and
long-
have your input. And,
Smoothies.
yeah, we love having input from community members too, so it's great for people to show up, so we're excited. Awesome.
All right, thank you
so
very much. Good luck.
All right, so we will move into, I don't think we have anybody else online, okay. Action items, so approval of meeting minutes. Does anybody,
I'll set a motion.
Second.
The minutes.
okay, all in favor?
Thank
Okay, motion approved, minutes accepted, reports, draft budget discussion. So we will jump right into it.
Okay, so the draft budget you have in front of you. And then on the third page, Michael's been working with me on maybe making something more understandable to you all that I
Yeah.
maybe wasn't able to make us clear last time.
Look at the third page of the budget system here.
Yeah, so we did get our current tax, property appraisal preliminary
Yeah.
value. And that number's there at the top in the pink column. So we're
Oh, you got
expecting
that. Okay.
11.3 million for our increment
Yeah, good.
for fiscal year 25. And then that pink column again is just what is anticipated to be spent out. And then that it does balance at the end there on that, not the back of the first page, but that second page. Everything does balance of that 11.3 that we're receiving in tax dollars. So we can go through and just, you can see where the money's being spent or how we're budgeting at least that 11.3 that we're getting for fiscal year 25, starting October 1.
Courtney, it might be helpful just to people like.
Yeah, if you want to start with that
So
first.
if you go to the last page, what I did, and Courtney and I kind of went through this, and I guess what she's calling unspent dollars that were allocated to maybe certain categories that were sort of all blended together with the budget items. I broke them apart. So top part of this page says cash balance end of fiscal year 2024. So these dollars are dollars, they're next to names or categories of what they were going to be spent on, but effectively those are just sort of placeholders. Okay. So what this shows is that there's a little bit under $13 million of unspent money in the pot. Okay. And then I created a 2025 budget line item, again, just using Courtney's numbers. So basically what this shows is, the revenue, projected revenue coming in from the TIF funds, and then all the expenses, whether, and I'm going to highlight a couple of them, but all the expenses that are either items that are projected to be spent this year or allocations that are to be set aside for certain things that are mandated by the CRA board, like affordable housing, for example. So you'll see under affordable housing land, $3.48 million in this budget. That is not going to be spent this year. And to add to that, there's about $6.7 million. There's $6.7 million from prior years that was sort of set aside to be spent on affordable housing, but not yet spent. So we've got almost $11 million of CRA funds for the Channel District that are not able to be used for anything other than affordable housing.
Michael, shouldn't that be part of your cash balance? Because if you look at this, you wouldn't know that there's money sitting in a affordable housing fund.
Well, I guess the answer is, well, actually, that should be set as the 6.7 from prior years should be identified.
Yeah.
Yes, but the thing is, though, so these are not. I guess the difference, Andy, is there's two balance sheet items. One is unrestricted, and then there's restricted. This 6.7 is restricted. So like this 12.8 that I'm showing
Is it unrestricted?
unrestrstricted.
Right.
Yeah, the 6.7 is restricted because there's also more restricted money.
I would just have a footnote.
I think we can kind of create two categories.
Yeah.
You can have unrestricted and restricted. I mean, that's a good question.
Because if not, if you're just looking at this, you wouldn't
right.
know that.
So, and then there's, like I said, there's 3.4 million in the 2025 budget. There's also, so you see the line item, commercial exterior grants, $1 million. So that is also another restricted source of money that hasn't been spent in prior years either. Correct.
These are the new grants, so
The ones from last year that were spent?
these are brand new
Oh,
established
okay,
grants,
okay,
so we
okay.
just now put aside the
Okay.
commercial exterior special project
Right,
grant.
okay.
So yeah, those are
So
brand new.
there's not a trailing balance of that. This is
First
just,
year.
so what will likely happen, because I doubt that we're going to spend that $1 million in 2025, since there's not even really yet a program of how to spend it, is that will also become, quote unquote, the balance sheet, a restricted source of capital as well. So, Andy, I think like you said, you're right. We should be adding a restricted category to the balance, the cash balance item showing that 6.7.
Yeah, and this way you have a bird's eye view of your cash balance.
And so, the importance of this is, so like, if you look at this, we are, with the $5 million now grant that we're giving per year to the aquarium, we are not balanced for next year. We're 3.2 in the hole. So, again, the way I would look at this from an accounting perspective is I would say, okay, I fund my deficit with my cash balance. That's not restricted, which basically brings us to a just under $10 million unrestricted cash balance available. So, I've been on this committee for a long time, and I've never really understood these conclusions. And I think, Courtney and I working together, like, to me, this is how it needs to be shown. I forget how you have to present it to the CRA board or how it gets approved at the city, but as far as us understanding, because now we say, okay, we've got $10 million that's available to be spent on land or whatever. But now we know what we've got. And we also can look at going forward and say, okay, and by the way, I'm still not necessarily 100% sold on this $11.3 million, because I know we talked about these new projects. I didn't really focus on that as much. I was more focused on trying to get this done. But if you look at on an ongoing basis, what things will be continuing. So for the next 3 years, we have this aquarium grant. We're going to have this affordable housing $3.5 million carve out. So if we're taking in, let's just call it 12 million, that leaves us 12 less 8.5. That leaves us with $3.5 million to be on a balanced budget basis for operational going forward, with with a $10 million cash fund basically to buy land. So that means that's good to know because, you know.
And we can always borrow against this
yeah.
too if we ever want to make a larger land.
And-
purchase. That's
and-
always an option.
And the overhead that the city is charging us is a third of that $3.5 million. 824,000 is what the city's allocating to us to pay for basically overhead, right?
Yeah, it's cost allocation for departments that support us, the CRA. So it's other city departments, it's all the salaries of all the staff members. But it's allocated across all the budgets, not just the
No,
channels.
right, but I just, so now the 3.5 goes down to, you know, $2.7 million of what we have. So all of a sudden, and, you know, and again, with the significance of making a $5 million pledge to the aquarium for the next 3 years, I mean, that's dwindles our money down to not that much. So everyone just needs to be understanding of that. I mean, that's.
No, I appreciate that.
But also
That's
keeping,
last-
I mean,
last
on the other end too, like keeping that committed for 3 years also prevents an early sunset of us, right? At least for that long. So I mean,
Well, you know-
and when you're having your funds committed out,
I mean, you know, but with this
it
highlights,
helps keep us around.
just, you know, this affordable housing mandate money. So like, we're going to have
That's an issue.
11 million, and then it's going to be almost 15 million, because it's a third of our budget is what we're having to set aside for that. And so, you know, I said, like, what's the plan? How's this going to get spent? And there's no
Yeah, well,
plan.
there's B Parks, who used to do communications, has a housing background. And so she's converted over to housing now. And so they've audited, there used to be 8 affordable housing programs that they've audited to dwindled to 5. And so she is presenting to us what those 5 are and how that 11 million is going to go into those 5 different programs.
Doesn't it have to be invested in the channel district?
Only in the channel district.
Yeah, that's the question. How does that work?
This is the problem,
Yeah.
is that we had the biggest setback yesterday with 2 A players resigning. Elise Durango and Erica, and this is this is gonna set us back.
She's resigned. So I think her last day is like July 12th.
What was
Yeah,
their
and-
position?
CRA director.
CRA director, but these are A players and economic, and, yeah, I mean, and then we had Nicole resign a month ago that, you know, becomes effective. I mean, we lost some really serious talent that you just don't, everybody's replaced with this is gonna be hard. So we were really, this is bad news.
Question, on the affordable housing, the definition, is this workforce or is it true affordable housing, like low
Workforce.
income?
Yeah, more workforce.
Workforce.
Yeah, we're getting people living in the district where they work.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of conversations about what programs might work in the district and all that, because obviously a lot of the criteria, they had some fancy firm come down like year before last and do some big consultation, and then they presented us all this stuff. We don't have the properties that fell under any of those categories. I mean, these were like apartments over retail and like two-story buildings with single apartment. Like, we don't have any buildings that even fall in these categories. Like, what do we do with that? So I think that they had to go back and look and say, what can we do in these areas that don't have the properties that you're describing? Because we just didn't have any of those.
Let me ask you this, 800, the operations administrative, the 824,
Mhm.
is that divided equally among all the 9 CRAs? So it's not based on, I mean, it's, so if I look at East Tampa, they're being 824?
No, it's not. It's based on the TIP revenue.
A percentage.
Oh, the percentage of it?
Yeah,
Percentage.
sorry, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a percentage of, because
Okay, that's
like the
fair.
downtown,
No,
you
it's
know,
fair.
has a lot
Yeah.
bigger of a budget,
No,
so
no,
it could
no.
probably
It's
take a
totally
little
fair.
bit more of the burden.
No, that's equitable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this is Michael.
So this kind of
This-
just
this-
frames it.
So we
This is a
don't have
bird's
to
eye view.
vote on this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, it'd be
Yeah.
nice to have a motion of support,
Sure.
because this actually gets presented, this has to go into the budget department, and then they
No, I
start
appreciate
entering
it.
this stuff into the
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
system, and then on July 25th, every single CRA budget is presented to the CRA board for the first time.
But again, it's not like we can't move funds from
Correct.
one to another. If it's something different comes up that we want to do, we can vote to move things around.
Okay, we
So-
just saved 2 hours, so.
Yeah, this
I'll
is
move.
great.
You need a motion on it? or-
Okay.
I would like
Yeah.
a motion of support.
Thank you, Michael. This is very helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just so that we can say that, you know, you guys did review
Move
it.
for
You built-
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, all in favor?
Right?
thank you. Great.
And next year, if we could get this a little earlier.
Well, so, and Courtney, just like add what Andy suggested, so put, total would be unrestricted, then just put, restricted funds, which is a 6.7. Because I had that footnote on here, but you.
Yeah, it's $6,727,317.
I'll, you know what, I'll do it. I'll add it, that's fine. I'll add it, send it back to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's keep on rolling.
Well, it's because.
I know,
On it,
but
but how am I gonna get mad at
if we
me?
don't- No, if we don't have them give the time.
I
we just need to
did.
Keep them, oh, really?
Yeah, well, I mentioned that it was just gonna be the budget on the
Ah.
agenda.
Well,
Okay.
don't look at that, so, okay, all right. So I'm gonna jump over, the aquarium is here. Tony, would you like to get up and give us a quick update as it relates to the aquarium? He told me, yeah, you're good.
Yes, we are doing an expansion for our next phase for our expansion plan. So you'll be seeing some boarding walls, and hopefully we'll have some great graphics on there, so that won't just be walls that you'll see. As we expand, you'll be seeing probably for the next year or two, that we're going to be, where our sea lions are going to be, our penguin habitat, and our puffins. So we're really excited about that. We also have a new bird show. It's called Feathers in Flight. And there's this amazing singing bird. If you haven't seen it, you get to see him. So come on by and take a look. And we're excited to have that. We'll be running 3 times a day in the summer. And we also have a fundraiser happening on Saturday on a boat cruise. So if anyone wants to come on out, we have that happening on June 8th, which is in a couple of days. So yeah, that's what we have going on.
Okay, well,
Cool.
that's quick. Sorry, we should have jumped to you first. I just didn't really think about it. We started going into down the budget rabbit hole. And, yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you being here and filling in for Andy. So we appreciate you guys. All right, so we will jump to new business and then, yeah, I mean, I think unfinished business, we kind of have to keep some of those.
Well, the
normal-
only reason I did not is because we have this new handy, nice little
Oh,
tracker.
wow.
So I don't have to keep it on the agenda any longer. So.
I love me a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So, and I can't take credit for this, our projects team started to
Okay.
put this together
Cool.
for every single district so
Okay.
that we can start
So-
to track.
All right, so we have no new business, or is there new business on here? Or did we?
No, this is all the unfinished to
Okay,
me.
so we've got
This
new
is-
right now?
No,
This
but these
month?
are just
Okay.
the, so, you can always have this, I'll have this in the agenda packet every month, so you can see where all of our projects stand.
Okay.
So you can review it, ask me questions later after the meeting if you'd like, but
Okay, cool. All right, so unfinished, yeah, we can run through here. So Chance Drive. As far as the new business, I know we had last month talked about the section of maybe 12th Street around like the towers and up north of Cumberland, because it's like one of the only stretches in
Yeah,
the
you
district we
were
haven't redone.
You said that I needed
sidewalks
it,
or-
yeah, that's a little different than what, it's a little more major what we're asking for than to
yeah,
ask
well,
the
we did
city.
talk to John.
Yeah,
We
Jason,
talked,
yeah,
and he owes us an
Yeah.
estimate.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I
Okay.
also saw him because he's doing work on my project. So
Okay.
he's working on that. And I was gonna say, is we talked about that and those Cypress trees and stuff are like buckle the sidewalks really bad.
Yeah.
We're already doing all this. It can't be that much more to just weather mobilized out there to throw that in at the end or something, but he's working on it. He's gonna put together a scope of work and a budget for the stuff they think that we need through there. I don't know if there's any overhead power through there or not. That might already be underground, but as far, at least new sidewalks and stuff, because it's rough through there.
Yeah, I think it's all under.
It might be under, yeah, so I don't think it'd be as much of a scope as like some of the other areas where we've had to bury lines and all that, but I think like at least new sidewalks and maybe, the new parking, meter signs and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
112.
those lines are all underground.
I think so, yeah. So I think like we'd probably start at Channel Side Drive, like in front of the towers right there, wrap around and go up 12th. It's like the last section that we're not redoing, so why not? If we
Yeah.
can and have the funds that are mobilized, and we're not talking power lines and stuff, we're talking about sidewalks and
Yeah,
maybe some new
sidewalks,
trees and stuff
trees,
like
yeah.
that. So it's not major, but would help a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's even some areas that there's no way that they meet ADA compliance between some of the ramps in front of some of the buildings, like Victoria Lofts and stuff, and like the light poles. It's tight. Like, I just don't think that there's
Did they say
any
anything
way.
Did you mention that section on Channel Side between 12th and that goes around the corner by the aquarium on the north side? That may be the porch, may not be the porch.
It is the porch, actually.
It is the porch,
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
basically, all that land is
Yeah.
the porch from like the circle. That's why our project stopped at the circle,
Right.
basically.
And we did a little swapping out right there for some other things that were going on, but yeah, so, okay. So anyway, Jay-Z's looking into it. He's gonna give us a scope of work, price, all that stuff. And I don't think it's anything that we would spend money on now. It would be a little bit down the road, probably at the end after we do North 12th and Twigs and all that. It would probably be last. They'd come back and kind of circle back to us, which probably wouldn't be until
And who is it
next year.
Yeah,
But-
it's
but
a year or
it-
two out,
Yeah, a year or two out, so, but worth looking into.
Cool. And who's doing the security cameras? Is that Captain?
It's supposed to be on the council agenda tomorrow, June 6th.
All
I
right.
thought it was already approved.
Well, it's approved, but there's a contract that the TPD has to have approved by city council
Okay.
for all of the cameras.
Who's our lead on that? Who's also?
Detective McGinnis, Dave McGinnis.
Still on it, okay.
Different.
Yeah.
I hate to go back, but can you tell me why there's a decrease of assessed value when you look at 24 and 25?
This is why I said I wasn't buying it. I didn't get into that because
That doesn't make sense.
We
It
did.
should go up.
Huh?
This is, here, I'll show you. That's from the property appraiser's office.
You doing the new buildings?
Went down 1% down,
Wow.
which was a
Is
surprise.
there an incentive on somebody in one of these new buildings or something?
I don't, those are just the hard numbers that I
There
got
could
from
have been,
that
there could have
budget
been,
office.
there could have been a tax abatement incentive or something on one of the new buildings.
No.
I don't buy it. I mean,
Mm-mm.
Because we were projecting a 5% increase conservatively.
Well, you
Why
had a
would
new
they
product come on.
reduce value?
right, well, that's, right, again, we didn't get into that discussion. I did say to you, I wasn't buying that stuff. Because it's not going down. There's no way.
Unless one of the buildings has some type of
No,
agreement.
No, they don't. I know
Sure?
that, no, I know the agreements. Yeah.
Nah, none of them.
No historical,
Well,
no.
no historic, but I'm talking about any type of abatements in exchange for building them or nothing.
Nothing new got that. And so if something old had it, it would have burned off.
Yeah.
If that existed, and it would go higher. So
I just question,
In this day and time, you wouldn't think we'd offer that because it's usually when you're trying to raise an area.
yeah, I question the.
That would be
A lot of
that'd be a pretty good deal.
A
if you
lot
get
of
that
developers
deal.
get a lot of deals.
Yeah, true. That'd be a.
I remember I tried to
It
get
happened.
money for the Publix at Twigs and Meridian, and I thought we had a deal. And then I got told no, like, after I thought we had a deal.
Mhm.
So there's none of that.
So we could challenge that unless one of
You
the
can have that.
unless one of the building owners challenged it and they were valued too high or something, and they came back and said, no, here was our permit price, or, was the value on our construction permit, and you overvalued us, and they were able to go back and talk it down.
It's like a big black hole.
They may
Trying
have,
to get to
they
that.
may have challenged it. They challenged their values and used their construction permit values.
I mean, so forget the projection that you get. We get the dollars that you get, though, right? I mean, so whatever,
I think it's gonna be a pleasant surprise.
is there ever like a
I think
true up?
I think you're ultra conservative.
No, this is directly from the property
Yeah.
appraisers,
Yeah.
and those are pretty accurate, but when we get the final.
Do you get a true up from them after they collect after the bills go out? You can,
I don't, the budget department does,
what I'm
but
saying, but like, does it funnel to you so you can see from like what we projected last year in revenue versus what we actually got? Do you ever get that?
yeah, well, the budget analysis will tell us if anything changes and where to put it. She
No, I'm
does.
talking about just the TIF revenue. So the TIF revenue, you use a projection for the budget. At
Right.
the end of the year, you should get, okay, here's what we actually collected versus the projection for the budget. How do those two compare? Do you ever see that?
Yeah, I mean, our budget analyst would have it. I can always request it.
It would be good to see that.
But if there's ever
Yeah.
a surplus, then they contact me and ask, where would we want that surplus to go, of unexpected revenue that we did receive?
Yeah,
So-
my
When do they
property
report
taxes
that?
went up,
Do you know?
Pardon me?
When do they report?
Yeah. Quite a bit.
Revenue.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, so
that stuff is.
what's in
The
here?
road gets certified,
It's generally-
the road gets certified, preliminary road gets certified to DOR June 1.
Yeah.
This Yes,
know, right?
Florida statute 193.01.
You should already know these.
So that's why I question that, but that's okay. But I think we may have a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I mean,
Does that show every property?
No, that
individually?
just shows all districts.
These are just the CI districts, how they went up or down.
Look, you can always go back and look at every individual property and see what the difference was between one year to another. There's not that many in the district. I mean, if we wanted to drill down into it.
it is what it is. When we get, the
In the
final
ball, yeah.
tax.
Yeah, we can check them then,
Yeah,
see
it
what
is.
they put on there.
So,
It just means you have more extra money basically to go to
I
unallocated
think it's gonna get a deal,
funds.
building value.
I mean, rents aren't, Anyway, okay.
For the
And the other
assessment.
item I had, just as a recap on this work you did regarding the parks, can you make a presentation on that? How, I guess,
Well, I got that information from real estate. Real
Yeah.
estate put that together for me.
so, you want me to make it? Or you want
Oh,
me-
you can, oh, yeah, you can.
Okay, the bottom line is I had asked Whitney to give a report on all our parks and what the square footage was, and then as a total of the channel side to see where we were at compared to the total land. Very, I mean, we have, there's, I think, 224 acres, if I'm not mistaken, in channel side,
Total, yes.
total, right about
Roughly, right.
224, sound right? Doesn't say it on this.
I can tell
Oh,
you.
221, here.
221.
It says it, okay, here.
It's pretty close,
So
yeah.
221, and we have 2.41 total cumulative of park. Very poor. And based on peer comparisons, you should have 10 to 12%. And we have 1%.
So where are we with the appraisal on the property behind Madison Street Park? Did that come back? The appraisal for
Being
the
reviewed, it's
property?
being reviewed.
We don't have access to that yet.
We don't have access, but it's being reviewed.
For which one? I'm sorry.
The
I'm trying to
property
write-
behind Madison Street Park.
The A and E.
A.
Oh,
B.
Twix.
Yeah.
It's in the property owner's hands, so we don't have any information yet, as far as a response.
But
But
we don't know
just,
what the
I mean, that,
appraisal
those,
said.
That's pretty bad.
that is bad.
Yeah,
That appraisal, was that a
We've
half
known.
an acre property we're talking about? Appraisal we were just
I
talking
don't think
about.
we'll ever get to 10% here, but
No, but it just shows you that we really
a little more.
are, yeah.
The only way we get 10% is with the port property.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, I just wanted to make reference because I've always
Which I do
complained that
think
we
eventually
need more
we-
green, need more
We
green.
get green space over there, right? I mean, that's got to be part of the project.
Just
so
just
I don't
emphasis,
think you'd ever do that without.
emphasis is we need more green.
Yeah, agreed. Well, if anybody can find some property that we can buy.
The
Andy,
prices here are astounding.
wait, don't you have an empty property we can buy?
Plant some grass on
You
it.
just plant some grass or some trees. Can we do something with that? So.
That's better than you're breaking up.
Okay, we'll see what the appraisal comes back at and then, start exploring other options and stuff. I mean,
But this is good. Thank you
look,
for
there's
this.
definitely some lots around here that we know the highest and best use isn't cruise day parking, but how do we get those people to sell, right? I mean, it's gravel lots that nobody likes to see cars parking in, but what do you do about that? So we can approach and start
We have
saying,
to pay
hey,
up. We got to pay up.
would you sell and how much do you want for it? Like the little lot across from Union 3, that little corner parking lot.
Yeah.
It's not big enough for a developer to ever do anything there. It would be a great little pocket park. And I know it's not huge, but it adds to the green space. It adds to the total. It's better than nothing.
Which piece are you talking about?
The corner of Cumberland and 12,
Sure.
that little
Well,
gravel
You know what?
parking lot.
Remember, I tried to actually, remember that? I tried to get those guys to sell it.
Yeah, no.
Because in
But-
fact, actually, I mean, it's not as much of a nuisance to me, but what that operation of
kinda
parking is a total nuisance to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
People
those
are out-
guys getting in the middle of the road.
And that's all,
Yeah, they
that's
do.
all
Spinning their signs.
illegal. You can't do that by law. I mean,
Yeah.
and no one's
Yeah.
enforcing that.
It's so
No, and they're stopping and giving directions basically to their
Yeah.
lot right across the street,
Right.
and holding
It's so
up traffic. And
Yeah,
speaking of
I
which,
mean-
when do we have TPD here? Do we request their presence or?
They used to come to every meeting, and so
Yeah,
we need to.
anytime. If you want me
I
to.
think we need to
12th
ask them
Street
to
Okay.
start coming
cruise
back.
stuff
That was helpful.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think have them come back.
'Cause remember,
they did make a commitment.
We don't
to
have a
come to our
July
meetings.
meeting, remember,
Right.
because of July 4th, we have, the next meeting would have been July 3rd, so we
Yeah.
didn't hold a July meeting, so I can ask him,
To
Captain
come-
College, to
Yeah,
come to
that'd
the
be-
August meeting.
Yeah, that's who we're meeting with, Captain College. We're meeting with them on that noise ordinance.
Yeah, I think it would be good to ask them to start
Okay.
coming back every month.
I'll
But they were
whisper to him because I
well,
want
they
to
were
sit in
pretty
on that
regular
next week
for a
with them.
while, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, updates on anything else here? Is there anything new? Washington Street Park, have we got RFPs out or anything to anybody for design services? Is that, any of that moving, or is it all still kind of where it was?
So it's got 80 grand, that was the-
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, but I didn't know if it was out on the street yet.
That's
Yeah, the
nice.
RFP.
We're going there.
That's when Melissa's be under B's department, the B and O housing.
well, no,
Why
that's
would we do that?
She's
Melissa.
Communications, it was not, just wonder, or am I thinking something else?
We're putting out an RFP for
Which,
like
what's the equipment
private,
or is it?
Okay. I'm
private
thinking
design
something else.
services for the park
And then
in Washington, the other park.
I'm thinking something else, 'cause I think she
Because
has-
we're in the Washington, yeah, when do we get the next updates on the Washington Street Park design? And which one they chose and which one we're going with and when they start construction documents and all that? Are we there yet?
Yeah, well, yeah, they were already, they presented to the CRA board, so
Okay.
that's already been done.
And they went with the option we recommended with the dog park in it and stuff?
Mhm.
Okay, and so when do we put out an RFP for construction documents on that?
Yeah, so it's listed here, so Melissa was tracking it. Let's see.
That's Washington Street Park renovations, schematic, other
Well,
than
that's-
schematic design, okay, so they're still working on schematic design?
Yeah, they made,
Wait, that should be done. Contract admin,
Yeah,
on a
I'll-
design, they're gonna do a design build RFP, okay, so they're,
Yes,
that's
yes,
probably
okay,
where it is
okay.
now, okay, yeah, okay. But then the other Channel Side Drive, so yeah, where are we with
yeah,
the?
that's, the scope's being drafted.
Okay, all right. Can we look at that before that scope goes out?
Yeah, I can request,
I'd like to.
yeah, because I think it's getting drafted with, in Melissa's group to then have Parks and Rec review it.
I think we should. I mean, we, pay for the land, I think we should see the scope of work and stuff before,
Yeah, I'll know.
yeah, I think so. Okay. All right, so beneficial bridge study, still in planning or contract admin?
Yeah, well, they have Elements Engineering, yeah, they're gonna start on it.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
it's,
It's moving.
okay, so it's not.
They already have the
planned.
scope of work
Okay.
and all that, so.
How long did they say that was gonna take?
I don't think that they did.
Wayfinding, okay, wayfinding signage, when, do we have any type of idea on when they're
We
gonna
just actually-
start, they're gonna start making those?
We just met this morning, so it's gonna go out of contract, well, it has to go through contract administration through as an RFQ.
Okay,
So we actually just had an 11 o'clock AM meeting on getting that going.
okay. What about our landscaping scope?
I do have it, and I'm happy to send it to you so that you can compare and contrast.
Yeah.
Um,
When do they plan to start doing stuff?
They
It's
have.
been awarded.
Yeah, the
right?
contractor's already been out
Oh, they
there.
are, okay.
Yeah, yeah, they've already been out actually working.
Been in a warehouse all day. every day.
Okay,
Quarter of an acre.
yeah, they have been out there working.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, if you'd send me that, that'd be cool,
Okay.
then I'll drive around. to
You
it.
threw out a price.
Did you hear anything back on the no U-turn signs yet?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too.
Yes.
So we'll put that
I
on
didn't
there
I
too.
didn't see it, yeah.
So-
I mean,
Yeah, and just as predicted, that new building on Meridian's open, residents are going in there and it's constant right there.
Yeah.
I knew that was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
happen. I can't believe they weren't forced to put their entrance on Whiting on the other side. So people could turn left at the light and then into the building. But they do a U-turn and then
I like break up that median, so there's like this entrance.
so close to the light though, that's the problem. But yeah, and then yet so close to the other light. I don't know if they do it or not, but man, it's a lot of near misses right there. That was a really bad call, putting that entrance right there.
That and that garage on,
Or they should have done it on the backside off of, what is the backside one? What's that?
In front of my unit, it's already a mess.
Yeah, that
They have
whole,
an entrance on that side.
on the backside, actually, yeah, the entrance being on Meridian, then there's no turn lane in there. People are going to that, they're going to that stoplight and you turn in.
Yep.
That's, it's
The
gonna
whole
be,
thing's a hot mess.
it's gonna be an issue. really surprised they did it that way, but
Not
yeah.
as bad as that garage next to Orange Theory though. That design.
Somebody's gonna get killed right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get killed doing, people doing U-turns at
With the bike lane,
Cumberland and Meridian too.
Yeah.
It's happening, because that little island where you merge, there's not enough room and radius there to really make that, so people have to get there halfway. Some vehicles, you're not seeing them have to stop and back up and then,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, sorry.
so that's okay. So May 29th, the Director of Operations from Thea said, we have decided to install no U-turn signs at Cumberland, Whiting, and East Washington. We need to leave a U-turn as an option at Jackson, Kennedy, and Twiggs. We're in the process of getting that work priced out and implemented.
What's the reason on Kennedy's called? There's been a lot of wrecks right there too, people doing U-turns. I wonder why.
He didn't,
I wonder
It's
if
a
that,
bigger intersection.
it might require FDOT approval. That's a state road.
Yeah.
Kennedy is.
Same thing.
I bet they can't do it without getting FDOT involved, and they're like.
It's a wider, because you have a turn.
Yeah, there's been a few accidents, but it's definitely wider, but yeah, that's probably because of FDOT. So, but Twigs, I don't know why they wouldn't on Twigs.
Twigs is a little Publix. Maybe it's something to do with the summit.
Maybe because when that's blocked off in Northland Summit, they need people to be able to turn around and go back around to get on. Yeah, that's what it is. They need people to be able to go back around to Kennedy to merge onto the north lane when the express is contraflow. That's probably what that is.
Yeah.
For Twig.
Kimberly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm surprised Jackson is not considered to, because if you're going northbound on Jackson, you're in trying to make that U-turn, you're going to be turning into people that on Jackson, I'm sorry, if you're going northbound on Meridian, if you try to make a U-turn there, you're turning into people coming down Jackson eastbound that could be making a right-hand turn on red. And you're turning, so you're going to be having people turn into each other. If you,
Yeah.
Can we ask why Jackson? The other two, I can kind of see the reasons, but why Jackson? Can we ask that?
Yeah, and if someone wants to reach out to him directly, I've been dealing with the.
I just want to come
Operations.
The others are bonus to me.
Greg, can I take a tour of my building? I could ask them.
I tell you, I'm
Yeah,
just.
so it's just Brian Pickard, whoever I'm dealing with. Oh, if you want to ask. Yeah.
I can ask, but yeah, I mean, shoot them a question and say, you know, we can kind of understand Kennedy and Twigs. Can you give us a reason for Jackson? I would just ask, you know, just say the committee asked why Jackson wouldn't be included.
Okay.
I know of at least 3 accidents at the Cumberland.
Oh.
Because it's just, and I think part of the problem too is the left, oh yeah, maybe you can say about this. The southbound left turn lane from Meridian onto Cumberland, that left turn light lasts about 4 seconds. And it's like green, yellow, red. And cars are trying to get through. And I think people are trying to get through. Then you've got somebody doing this and then cars are coming that way already. And it's like, that light is
So you're talking
so
about the
short.
northbound?
I'm talking about
Meridian.
southbound, like, I'm talking about southbound on Meridian, taking a left on the Cumberland. That light is really fast and like. You
Well, and
can't
then it
get-
goes red and then it goes to the.
And then it goes blinking yellow, and then people start trying to do U-turn, but then you've got
People are
two-way
trying to
coming,
turn
and then
left,
people are trying to turn left.
and they're blocking the
From
intersection.
Cumberland north on, yeah, correct, so I would,
I
yeah.
see more of the issue going north.
I need to be, I think if the turn lane lights on north and south, both on Meridian onto Cumberland was a little bit longer, you'd get a few more cars through, so there'd be less of them inching out there waiting or just trying to beat that light.
There was like a day where there was like, must have been a cruise and there must have been something at Sparkman, but it took me about 40 minutes to get to the Publix to Pier House,
Yeah.
just to like.
Yeah, and part of it is because that light
The
lasts
moment I
like
got
3
stuck in
seconds.
that left lane, I'm like, I hate my life, I should have.
And yeah, part of it is that really short light, there's just not enough time.
Okay, you gotta say it
'Cause that's
slow. Slow.
Southbound Meridian
South on Meridian.
and north.
Yeah, south and
It's
north.
the turn lane, the left turn lane light itself onto Cumberland.
Just the timing.
East and westbound, it's a timing issue on the
Turns
light.
green, one car gets through. and
Right.
Turns red.
And it does.
And they're
It's
stuck in
like
the
green,
intersection.
yellow, red, then it moves back to blinking, and then those people start trying to do U-turns, and you got people going both ways. Yeah, lots of close calls, couple of pretty decent wreck. Somebody was on their side, week before last.
Oh, really?
It was hit so hard it pushed the car over on its side. Yep.
I just never drive, and then when I do, I'm like, I hate that.
Good.
I think so. Is that everything on the list? Anything, anybody have anything else? Cool.
Can I ask a question about some of your stuff?
Sure,
Does your signage package include like street corner signs that say 11th and what? Because we're missing a bunch all over the place.
I don't know if they,
Not, no.
No.
It's way.
No, it's about
wayfinding.
can we request an audit of actual street signs, directional, like street identification signs? Can we request an audit of that?
I can ask, yes. Mhm.
I mean, if
Just-
we're, if
just
we're
the
missing a
number,
sign,
the
well, if we're missing just a sign that says what street you're on, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that should be easy to replace. The sign shop should be able to make those.
Yeah, they should have the capability.
Yeah, they can make those in-house.
You should probably know.
Do you know of one specifically?
I mean, 11th and Whiting, 12th
11th
and
and
Whiting,
Whiting.
what's the one you just said?
Up and down Whiting?
Whiting, Washington.
Well, I think before we,
Well,
I
yeah,
think,
you're right.
I think before you throw some, like, someone should just go around and comprehensively say, here's a list if we're missing a bunch, because I mean, you don't want to go get 4 signs and still be missing 5.
Well, they should send somebody out.
Yeah.
Or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just
People
saying.
here are getting paid.
All right, whoever does that, I don't know.
Yeah. No, they could,
Yeah.
like you said, they can come and
Yeah.
assist.
Yeah, I think we're gonna lose more.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're, yeah, no, that's fine. We don't have anything else to vote on except adjourning, right? So,
Yeah.
Did you have anything else quickly
I
before we
mean, I guess the
adjourn?
only other question is, you have a landscaping company that comes
Yes.
in, so we have a bunch of stop signs that are obscured by trees and landscaping.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, if you can have them check that. And I also know that
If
the
that's in their scope, are we talking the landscaping company?
trimming tree
Oh,
branches.
I thought you meant to look at the signs.
No,
Sorry.
trimming tree branches.
Yeah,
that
trees are in the
covering-
way of the stop signs.
Oh, okay.
And I'll give you another one that's really bad in just a second. We'll let them go. Okay, so that we're working on that. We're kind of taking an area at a time, but that's like a landscape contractor.
That's why we
lead
got a
contractor.
private
We did that
contractor
outside of
do
the
stuff,
city
yeah.
so we could kind of get extra stuff cleaned up and done. We're working on it. Good. Okay, good. All right. Can somebody make a motion for adjournment? Oh, sorry, next CAC meeting August 7th. We don't have one next month. It's 4th of July week, so we said no on that. So then next one is August 7th here, CRA board, 13th. Andy, thank you so much for coming in for me on that. I just have so much going on that week. All right, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Awesome, second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Have a nice
we're going, you're going southbound on Channelside Drive. Channelside Drive,
No, I mean, what request
mine.
for signs?
I'm getting there. If you're going southbound on Channelside Drive, where Whiting, where Cummings just did all that work, there's a lit cross sign where the sign blinks for pedestrians to cross, and I think it's right at Whiting. When you're coming down through there, there's a tree planted right in front of that sign that blinks. You cannot see that blinking at all until you are right under it, and people are in the crosswalk and you're close. I almost hit somebody the other night, 'cause I didn't see it blinking today. So you can't, so the tree needs to be trimmed up so you can see the blinking light sign. It is not visible at all. Then that tree is really full and thick, and you cannot see the blinking at all, even at night.
What, say the,
That's, I think it's.